YouTube. You already know. Big Lou. Tapping back in. One more again. What it do? Big Lou. When it's y'all too. Baby, baby. Bye. So this is going to be a quick video, man. This is a response to De La Hoya's last Clapback Thursday, right? Where he's came out saying, Berlanga, uh, Puerto Rico don't claim you. I'm more Puerto Rican than you are. Come on, man. It sounds stupid as fuck. Maybe if you would have said, and I'm pretty sure you have a baby or two with the Puerto Rican lady, right? Because I know De La Hoya used to live there for like 10 years, close to 10 years, 5 to 10 years, something like that, in Puerto Rico. Um, and I believe he has a baby. He has at least one kid that's half Puerto Rican, right? Meso Rican. So like my kids, what my kids are. So, anyways, if he would have said my son is more, or my daughter, or my kids are more Puerto Rican than you are, then I would have bought that, right? Because not only are they have half the bloodline of Boricua, they were probably born there, and on top of that, they live there, right? We all know Berlanga's from New York, but if you know even more than that, you know that New York, at for years was the motherland. I mean, not excuse me, not the motherland, but the motherland away from the motherland. If that makes sense. So in other words, the population of Puerto Ricans, Boricuas, Jibaritos, Portorros in the state of New York was tremendous, right? And then of course we know the surrounding areas: New Jersey, Hartford, Connecticut, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? Some were down in Florida, um, Boston, Massachusetts, right? Chicago, Illinois. Uh, I know Philly's second population of Puerto Ricans. Chicago's, I'm not sure nowadays where it's at, but Chicago had to be up there too. Um, uh, where was I going with this? Oh, also from Puerto Ricans, joining the military. We had a lot of Puerto Ricans in obviously Germany, France, Japan, uh, Texas. You know what I mean? So San Diego, or Camp Pendleton. So we were spread out all over the country. But what gets me about this, but with De La Hoya saying this smart ass shit, right? They're cute. He's trying to be cute, and it's obvious for clicks and views, right? But I don't know how old a lot of you people are that's going to see this, but back when he fought at that time, the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, uh, uh, and he considered his idol Julio Cesar Chavez, and he didn't even go by senior back then because Junior wasn't even, he was a boy, little boy. But De La Hoya got in the ring with him and put hands on him, right? Chavez was considered over the hill by that time, but he really wasn't. He was only like 35 years old, 36 years old. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I think he was only like 33 or 4, to be honest. I think it was a little bit less than that. And what's oh man, I'm trying to think of dude's name that does the boxing channel, the black dude. He has got kind of bug eyes. He brought this out that people were talking about Chavez being over the hill and comparing him to the ages of Spence and Crawford prior to their build up mega fight. I'm trying to think of the dude's name. I can't even think of his name right now. Um, you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes he wears that wig, that Rick James looking wig with the long Jerry curl. Um, I think he rapped at one time too. Anyways, you know, they were even De La Hoya is an American, right? He's a Mexican American, aka Chicano. He's American. He fought in the '92 Olympics for the United States. He's a gold medalist for the United States of America, right? And so same thing. They used to say, "Oh, he's not Mexican enough," even though Spanish was his first language. Both his parents were from Mexico. He was first generation Mexican American, right? I think even his older siblings were born in Mexico too, but I could be wrong about that. Nonetheless, they were saying that he wasn't Mexican enough. He wasn't Mexican enough. He wasn't respected as a Mexican from Mexico. That's what they were saying. And now he's gonna come out and say some stupid ass shit like that. Sometimes people don't need to speak on certain things, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of goes down the line of people need to mind their own damn business, right? People need to stay in their own lanes, right? People need to keep it moving. These are the words that they use nowadays, right? To explain that, you know. But come to find out, after hearing from Berlanga said that, and there's pictures to prove it, that him and De La Hoya are together. De La Hoya approached him to sign him to Golden Boy Promotions, and for whatever reason, he didn't go with him. He went somewhere else, and De La Hoya kind of has a grudge there. We know De La Hoya has, in my opinion, for him being he was not counting his boxing ability and the fighter that he was, being a six-time world champion. Now let me rephrase that, because that doesn't always sound right. He was a six division world champion with multiple belts, right? He probably held 9 to 11 belts, I would imagine, somewhere around there, right? You figure one each belt, I mean, one each division alone is six, right? But we know at a few times he held a belt or two belts he was a unified champion, right? And he holds little grudges like he's been having against Canelo, right? He helped build Canelo, and then Canelo just said "F you." And then on the same video that he's dissing Berlanga, he's talking shit about Canelo being an arrogant asshole and this and that. And I think Oscar's can be an arrogant asshole too at times. Now, recently too, I also seen a clip of Shane Mosley, the father, talking about when Golden Boy started. It was supposed to be De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, and Marco Antonio Barrera, right? And he's saying something about, they start not liking. Well, Shane Mosley was going through a divorce at the time, a bad divorce, where he got, his mind wasn't on promoting a brand new promotion out the gates, and so he kind of fell off, right? But Bernard Hopkins, B Hop's been with them every step of the way, and Marco Antonio Barrera, for whatever reason, he stepped off from the Golden Boy platform. I don't know if he was going to be like the spokesman for Mexico, but we know De La Hoya also, since he speaks Spanish and he spends a lot of time in Mexico too, that he was, maybe he was Barrera was going to be his right hand man in Mexico, like B Hop is here. I don't, what I'm saying. But Shane Mosley did say that because of De La Hoya's games, a lot of the ex fighters don't like what he does. They don't like his personality and his behavior. You know what I'm saying? And we heard with Canelo. Canelo didn't even really go at him, jamming him up. He just spoke that he don't like Oscar's little mañas, right? Which means like habits. And so so whatever reasons he don't like his habits, that caused him to sign elsewhere. Well, we know why he signed elsewhere. He was going to get more money, right? And it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about money. This is a business. You're boxing, yes, to win, and you want to continue to win. You want to get belts. Some guys don't care about getting all the belts, like per division. They want one belt, maybe two belts, and then move on to the next. Fight a few more fights, move on to the next. Move up and weight. You know what I'm saying? Or put together the best fights available, the mega fights, right? Other guys, such as Terrence Crawford, where he's became the first man to be undisputed in two divisions, and now he's moved up in another weight class, and he's won another title to make him a four-division world, four-weight class champion, and he's continuing now to build on that. So, it's just different guys got different goals in mind as far as how they want to take their careers, and obviously it depends on their management, their promotion teams, everything, their inner circles, their families, all that stuff comes into play. Okay, I said that to say this, that De La Hoya seems to take things personal, right? And I can't agree. I can't agree with them on he outpriced himself. That even the Saudis aren't willing to pay him that much. Where it's been reported that the Saudis don't even care about money like that, where they throw money like they use like they're wiping themselves with toilet paper. That's how much money they go through. And then some of the events didn't pay off on their end as far as the pay per view. They didn't make out like they thought they should have or would have. So when De La Hoya says that Canelo outpriced himself, they're not willing to pay it. That's what he's saying, because they don't care about money like that. But at some point they do, because they were not willing to pay him, 200 million, whatever he asked for. Now, we know this, and I said this in a video earlier today or yesterday, that Canelo is set in his fights. May, Cinco de Mayo weekend, September 16th weekend, Mexican Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo was a battle in Mexico. So he fights those 2 months every year. every year since I mean, at least 6, 7 years now I can remember. So why, if he's gonna do something, they wanted this fight to go down in February. I think it was all Mexico card on one side versus the U.S. I think it was, and they wanted the main event to be Terrence Crawford against Canelo. But like I said, and I put my 2 cents in on that, there ain't no way Terrence Crawford's gonna whip a Canelo, even if he's able to get him in position to jab, 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 keep him away to set up something else. Canelo's going to catch him regardless. He's going to catch him. You know what I'm saying? Eventually he's going to catch him, and it's going to be too much power at the end of this for Crawford to handle. That's what I firmly believe. I mean, Crawford's been hurt before. He's been down before with Gamboa, and you're talking about a man weighing 30 pounds heavier, 40 pounds heavier than little Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Terrence Crawford's my favorite fighter at welterweight 150, 147, 154. He's my favorite fighter. I picked him to beat Spence. I knew he was going to beat Spence for a long time. I kept saying it. Everybody kept telling me, yeah, but Spence is a more natural welterweight. That don't matter. Look at Roberto Duran. He started off at 130, 135, and he ended up being the middleweight champion, knocking out Iran Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Iran Barkley was a natural middleweight. And then Duran went up to fight even light heavyweight. So, with the 5'8" frame, 5'7" frame, Canelo is 5'7.5". That's a small frame for a 168-pound fighter to fight at 168, but wipe out the division at 168. Now, De La Hoya made another comment that he's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't want to pay him and do business with him, and therefore that means that he's priced himself so high because he's doing all he can to duck David Benavidez. Now, that seems to be the case now, because I'll be honest, even though I'm Puerto Rican and I'm going for Berlanga for that reason only, he got no business being in there with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's 22-0. He's 22-0. He's a young man, but 16 of those 22 wins were first round knockouts, meaning he has no experience whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Not to get in there with a guy with 65 pro fights who is 34 years old, has been fighting pro since he was 15. There's no way. It don't compute. And he's been in there and he wiped out the whole 168 division. And he went upstairs to fight the light heavyweight, knocked him out, took his belt. Then he went back up again to try to take another belt, and that's where he lost to Bivol. But this guy's beat Caleb Plant. He's beat what's his name? Billy Joe Saunders. He beat Jermel Charlo. He's beat Jaime Munguia. He's beat, I'm trying to think of the other champions at 148, at 168. The brothers, right? Caleb Smith, was it Caleb Smith and the other Smith? Two brothers. He went through all those guys. You know what I'm saying? 4 division world champion, Canelo Alvarez, right? 154, 160, 168, 175. Yeah, 4 divisions. And you're talking about a Mexican fighter. You know what I'm saying? So him going up to middleweight, winning the title. Him going up to 168, winning all the titles. Him going to 175, taking the IBF heavyweight title, or light heavyweight, coming back down, conquering the 168 division. That was unheard of for Mexican fighters. You know what I'm saying? Mexican fighters more of not even really welterweight, until De La Hoya and some of the Americans, but eventually Chavez came up. But you're talking more like lightweight fighters, you know what I'm saying? 135, 140, 130, and definitely down, you know what I mean? So it's just in my opinion, yeah, he is running for David Benavidez now. There ain't nobody else for him to fight after tonight with Berlanga. You're talking about Bubu Andrade, who lost to Benavidez, and who else? That's pretty much it. Oh, David Morrell. He's got 10 fights, 10 pro fights. He don't go in there with a Canelo either. What does Canelo? What does that bring? What does that do for Canelo? Again, like I said, this is a business. You know what I'm saying? If it don't make sense for you to get in the ring with the person, then it don't make sense business wise, money wise, right? And that's what he was saying with Benavidez a while back. But now Benavidez beat Caleb Plant. He beat Bubu Andrade, 2 ex-champions. He also beat David Lemieux, another ex-champion. You know what I mean? So that excuse is gone now. Can't be used. He needs to get in the ring with him, and that's it. There ain't no other ifs, ands, what's about it. And if not, WBC President Mauricio Solomon needs to put his foot down, give Canelo an ultimatum like, look, this is what's happening. This is what needs to happen. We're not going to let you slide no more on this. You have to fight David Benavidez. Yeah. You know what I mean? But back to what I was saying from the very beginning, De La Hoya needs to stay in his own lane and promote fights and stop being a instigating chicken shit motherfucker, right? Um, because he's the face, the face of the company. He's the CEO of Golden Boy. This is a multi-million dollar operation. These guys got multiple fighters signed to multiple $1 million contracts. Some of them might be a 5 fight contract, whatever, but it doesn't matter. He has Virgil Ortiz. He has Ryan Garcia. He has Pitbull Cruz there too. I think maybe he has some fighters. Or Rio. Maybe Rio was the one who was over there. I can't remember, but he has some. He has 3 or 4 good fighters, really good fighters, right? And so he don't need to be in the mix like that. You know what I'm saying? He said what he had to say to Canelo. Canelo was right there next to him, and that's it. Leave it alone after that. You know what I'm saying? But he wants to give him a finger and give Berlanga the finger from. That's all. That's chicken shit stuff, man. Be the man you are. Be Golden Boy. Be the freaking face of the company, and do your thing that way. You don't need to be putting yourself so low like that. I don't understand that stuff. There ain't nothing manly about that shit, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Talking shit, that ain't no. You can't fight no more. You're too old, right? You're too old. Them youngsters would kill you. I'm just keeping it real. You're 50 years old already now. Over 50. I think he's 54, right? Born in 70. You know what I mean? You're in good shape, no doubt about it. Not saying anything about that, but you can't compete on this level. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we'd have a ton of 50-year-old champions, 45-year-old champions, 40-year-old champions. And they're far and in between. There's only what? Bernard Hopkins, George Foreman. That's the only ones I could think of, right? In boxing, you know what I'm saying? Football, Peyton Manning, right? Baseball, Carlos Beltran. MMA, Daniel Cormier, right? That's about it, right? There ain't nobody else. So sit there and talk shit like that, telling people fuck f you and bitches and stuff. Not so much De La Hoya does that too much, often, but it's not a good look in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And then I seen him do a good the other day. He donated $20,000 to a school for supplies. It was 20,000. Now I thought to myself that ain't that much, but he's probably donating to multiple schools. 20,000. So it is something. So you figure if he 20,000 to 10 schools, that's 200 G's right there. You know what I'm saying? In the LA area. And we know LA got way, way more schools than that. The LA city alone is like between 3.5, 4.5 million people, just the city of LA. And then you got the Arbor area, which is Long Beach, Wilmington, Carson, all that. Then you got San Gabriel Valley, which is Puente, El Monte, Bassett. You know what I mean? You got all that. Then you got San Fernando Valley, which is Glendale, um, um, North Hollywood, Canoga Park, Canoga Park, and all that, right? So you got all that too. Oh, did I say Burbank, Glendale? Burbank and Glendale are over there, and then you got Pacoima. All that's San Fernando Valley. So when you're done computing the population for the county of L.A., and I ain't talking about Lancaster, and Palmdale, you're talking about probably 10 million people. You know what I'm saying? So imagine how many schools that is. That's a ton of schools. So that's a good thing for Golden Boy to do that. Um, Obviously, I continue to do that, but just reframe a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need clicks and views. You're doing big things over there. With that being said, I'm gone.